Welcome to another edition of This Is Me. This is Chris Gilmore, and this is episode 2009. So, look, it's firstly, again, I will apologise. It's has been some time since I've been back in the studio recording these podcasts, but obviously there's a lot going on in the world right now, and that's pretty much the reason for me being not on the air. But I've got a bit of time today, so I thought I would pump out a podcast for all you listeners today. So lots to talk about, lots going on, obviously with coronavirus and the pandemic that is going on in the world, and the shutdowns and people being locked up, and non-essential and essential, lots of people losing their jobs. So lots going on in our world, lots going on in business, personal, and so let's get stuck into it. So I can't really remember what we spoke about in episode 2008, but for 2009, this is going to be it's going to be an interesting podcast because lots have happened. Some big changes, especially in business, obviously. So let's talk about what's going on in the world, what's going on in our world right now, and how it's affecting us and what we're doing, and what changes have been made. So let's get into it. This is me. Well, so let's rewind just a couple of weeks. So it's mid-April 2020. We're right in the middle of COVID-19 is the word, or the coronavirus pandemic that's going on worldwide. But on the 1st of April, we had some big news, a big event that happened in our life, in our business life. It was the first step in really growing our brand, All Properties Group. But it all started about 8 months ago, and if you guys have been regular listeners, you would have known that some things were going on in the background. We just really couldn't say exactly what was happening, but we can officially now say and talk about it. But on the 1st of April, which was April Fool's Days of all days, but I chose that day in particular for settlement on this particular thing, we ended up buying a local Ray White office. Buying their rent roll. So basically, we've just now doubled our rent roll. So we've gone from 350 to about just over 710 property managements now under our banner in our Browns Plains office. And that was significant. It was something that I've been wanting to do in our business for such a long time. But now that we've got a bit more stranglehold of the business and ownership, we can really steer it in the direction that I've wanted to for quite some time. And we've looked at rent rolls over the years, and we've really cautious about which ones we wanted to buy. And we had a long-standing relationship. Well, my business partner Michael did with the previous owner, and we did the deal probably 6 or 8 months ago. But we had to keep it under wraps, obviously, for various reasons, and staff and stuff like that. So that all happened on the 1st of April. So that was big news. We paid well over 7 figures for it. So a massive investment, and what a time, 8 months ago when we did the deal, and was working through the entire process, and then coronavirus hits, and what a time for it to happen right in the middle of that. But it's probably going to be the thing that's going to save the business, to be honest, at this stage. So so that's big news. The Ray White office now has been closed down. The sales agents, we didn't take any of the sales agents. They all have gone elsewhere, which was probably a bit of a blessing at this particular time as well too. And but we took their property managers, so they've slotted into the business with our other property managers perfectly. The entire transition has been fantastic. So what goes on when you buy a rent roll? Basically, you're buying the property management side of the business. That's really what a real estate office is where the value is. And so now we manage over 700 rentals here locally in our local marketplace. So big, significant, lots of money. But it was definitely something that I've wanted to do for some time. And, that just really doubles our investment, or, the value of our business. So, so that's one little milestone that we can tick off now in the business world of what we've wanted to achieve for some time. So that's all happened. And then obviously some things have happened around, obviously the coronavirus has started, and we've unfortunately, we have had to let people go. We are one of those businesses where, we really rely on cash flow, and the real estate market has significantly, sort of halted. So we think up around 50% we're down at this point of time. But I'm still keeping really, really positive about it, and and I always look at these opportunities as this is a new opportunity. How can we've taken some measures in our business to really cut out the fat sort of thing, and we've had to release people that we didn't want to release. They're always hard phone calls. It's especially it was hard because we couldn't have face to face contact at that particular time, to the restrictions and self-isolation and stuff like that. So, to sort of let people go over the phone I don't particularly like doing that, and it's hard, and we've had long-term relationships with these people, but we have to put the business first, and there was some cuts made, but what it's really done is it's really opened our eyes up into looking at what we need in our business. What did we have just for things hanging off the side because we could and stuff like that. So we've really firmed up the business. So I honestly think moving forward, we're going to have a much, much more profitable business. And, like a big call is we now have no front receptionist. And a lot of people thought that's probably a little bit crazy. And, the idea of probably not having a front receptionist again is on the cards. And some other big changes with us, with the sales agents, is that there is now no longer any open homes being run. So it's, there's some big adjustments really happening in the real estate world and in our business. But I always take these opportunities on board. I keep positive. Because the only savior for me is everyone is in the same boat. People are losing their jobs and business is down, and it's just not our business. It is everyone's life, and that's the thing. So we're all going through it. It's just not us. So that's how I can sort of keep really positive in times like this. And these are really unprecedented times. They really are. Like, I don't think any of us that are alive right now would have ever thought we would have seen something like this in our lifetime. But, it's as bad as it is, all these people losing their lives and stuff like that from it. It's just heartbreaking, and everyone has different opinions. They all think it's Bill Gates, or it's 5G, or it was some Chinese guy eating a bat, or it was biological warfare, or, it's Donald Trump's fault. Like, really, it brings out all the social media experts, Karen, we call them Karens, so I apologize if you are listening and your name is Karen, but it's just a name that we, the Facebook expert Karen, but, we really need to sort of try and stay away and distance ourselves away from that, because at the end of the day, whoever caused it, however it happened, it's happened. And we can all sit back and just place blame on somebody, and we all have these conspiracy theories about what's actually going on, but I think it's all just shit. It really is. And at the end of the day, it's happening. We've just got to band together and support each other. And that's one thing that I've seen is the outpour of everyone just helping each other and coming together in a time like this, I think has been amazing. We've all had extra time to spend with our families, me especially. It's been great to be there with the kids. It's yes, some days are hectic, and now we've got to do some homeschooling, and the thing is, we're all in it, we're all going through it, so we're all going to have a story that comes out at the end of this. But one of the biggest things that I've really noticed around this so-called lockdown and what it really done, I honestly think it's really just slowed us all down. We were all living in this really chaotic world. The want it now, it has to happen now, need it now sort of thing. And it's really made, well, especially for me, just really taken a step back. And I'm nowhere near as stressed. I'm not as tired. I think I'm happier at the moment, because it's just, let's just chill out a bit. And that's been a really cool thing to watch. And the other thing that's really making me happy every time I leave the home and drive around and I get to head to work is the amount of people that are outside. It's astonishing. The amount of people that I'm seeing now walking, running, jogging, taking their kids for bike rides. Like, that was something that was 30 years ago, and we've really missed that. And I think, everyone's relied on technology. Now, technology is playing a massive part in the world right now. All these celebrities and singers and stuff, and they're doing everything now online, and we don't have sales meetings anymore. We have online sales meetings now. And, so technology, I don't think is I think it's not a distraction. It's actually now keeping us all connected and sane in a time like this. But it really goes to show the amount of technology that we do rely on, and to still stay connected with each other. even if it's not in a physical way, of touching and stuff like that. So I don't think we need to demonize technology. I think in a time like this, it's really helped us. But it is actually really, really satisfying for me when I drive out of home and I see, like the other day, I took Blake for a mountain bike ride. Honestly, we saw probably 300 people, at the local park, walking along the footpath, other people are mountain biking. Like it was just, and everyone was happy. Hello, how you going? Yes, we all kept our 1.5 meters where we could and stuff like that. So, but it's just really brought, I think, everyone together. But there is going to be a backlash from this. It's not all sunshine and rainbows at the moment, because there's people that are, and don't get me wrong, there's positives that are going to come out of this, but the onslaught of negatives that it's going to bring is going to be astronomical, and I'm not oblivious to that. So I know that divorce rates are going to skyrocket because people are spending more time together, or they're fighting, or people are losing their jobs, which creates anxiety and it creates depression and withdrawals, and because they're stressed about how they're going to pay their bills and stuff like that. So the onslaught of this entire thing is going to be astronomical. I've got no doubt about it. But one thing that it's really done, and I'm not too sure if everyone's really talking about this, but the one thing that I've really seen what this has really done is it has exposed us to how much we were probably living on credit, or living well beyond our means. You know what I mean? You have 1 week of no work and you can't pay the rent. Like that to me is not living, you know what I mean? So this, I think, is a huge wake-up call for a lot of people that, you know what, you probably don't need the toys, you don't need the latest handbag, or you don't need the latest pair of Air Jordans or the fanciest car or the biggest house, because when shit hits the fan like this, 1 bad week or 2 bad weeks, you can't pay the bills, you can't put food on the table. Now, to me, that's not living. You've got to live within your means. And I think a lot of people were spending or living this life that was a fake life. And I've spoken about that before in podcasts many times. People having things and material things to impress people that they actually fucking hate. Like, I don't see the point of that. But this has now really exposed them. It's shocking. And I hope that a lot of people realize and go, you know what, do I really need to pay $1,200 a week rent for this fancy penthouse when I could be, down the road, a kilometre away and living in something at $500 a week rent? Or I've got a massive mortgage for $1.8 million, on this fancy house, where I could really, to be honest, I could survive in a $400,000 home, and I think that's really one big thing that this whole coronavirus has exposed is if you have a really bad week, or you lose your job, you have no savings. People don't have savings, and it's really hard. Like, don't get me wrong, it is really freaking hard to save money, but it's not if you live within your means and you stop buying all the shit that you don't really need. And I honestly think in times like this, I think we're all saving more money than ever before. We're not going out to the restaurants 3 times a week. We're not eating out. We're eating at home. We're eating at much healthier stuff. We're just not spending money on shit anymore. So look, there's a lot that's going to come out of this, and it's the entire thing, to be honest, is just, I keep harping on it, but it's just shit. I can't even go and see, I've got to keep distance with my dad because if he gets it or something, you know what I mean? Like, there's just shit like that where, we've got to distance ourselves from people, and, and just the restrictions that they've put on is, I don't agree with half of them. 5 people at a wedding, 10 people at a funeral, yet you can have 400 people at the local Bunnings on a Saturday. Like that sort of stuff, I just don't get. And whoever's making those decisions, they just need a really good shake. But at the end of the day, I would hate to be the Prime Minister. I would hate to be the president of a country. The amount of stress and anxiety and pressure that is on these guys right now is just astronomical. So that's not a job that I would wish upon anyone. And it's easy for us to all sit back on social media and blame ScoMo for this or blame the Premier for that. And, if it wasn't the bushfires or the floods, now it's coronavirus. And they're still blaming people. You know what, guys? This is not a time for blame. This is not a time to to be angry or to point fingers at people. This is a time where we need to band together and be strong together and be a community and help each other. And if you see someone struggling or whatever it might be, or they can't afford some food, or $50 to somebody will go a long way. Like, this is the time of generosity. This is the time. This is one thing. And I had this conversation. I rang one of my good mates in Melbourne, who's a real estate agent as well. And, we just keep in touch, and, he's asking ideas and he's seeing what we're doing. And that's how I've sort of kept it, basically calling the shots of how we want to take our business forward and get through this. But, I made the comment to him and I said, "Oh, mate, have you heard from, and I won't name him who it was." And he's like, "Nah, mate, fully underground." I'm like, "Yeah, when they want your business, they're all over you. But, in a hard time like this, you don't even get a hello or how you going or, how's the family." So times like this really expose the genuine people and the con artists, the bullshit people is what I'm going to call them. And, the people that are all for themselves. And, when times are good and you're spending money and, you're with them or whatever it might be, they're all over you. But the time that you're not, and a time when you probably need those people the most to help and to get you through, to give you some ideas or, some words of encouragement, you don't see them at all. And so, times like this really exposes people. There's going to be some friendships lost and gained out of, situations like this. But, it really makes us look at the world completely different. It makes us look at how vulnerable we are as human beings, how something so, whatever it is, a small little virus can kill over 150,000 people, within months and turn the lives upside down of the family and friends of those people who have lost their lives. And and I've been fairly quiet on social media, but if you're listening to those dickheads that are on social media that can't grasp and they think that this is just a flu, you honestly just need to really, you need a slap in the face, because this is not a flu, okay? And it just takes a little bit of research and a little bit of brains to actually, look into it and really see what it actually is. And even if it is just a flu, it is causing devastation through every single person. And, I always say a disease or cancer doesn't have a face until it's a family member, and those people that are spooking saying, it's just a flu and it's only got a 0.2% death rate or whatever, wait until that's one of your family members. I guarantee you won't be saying what you're saying, so that just really makes me angry when I see that sort of stuff. So I've sort of tried to distance myself a little bit at the moment on social media to try and keep, I'm watching much more YouTube and more positive stuff, because we've got a little bit more time, because business isn't as busy as normal. But this is also a time too where going into the business is, I've kept my entire team. I've not changed anything. We've got some things in the background that we're working on right now. So, when it does come good, we've got things and strategies and procedures now in place. So I honestly think we're going to come out of this so much stronger. And I hope everyone else that's listening to this also does, put some things in place. And, this was a good time to reflect on some certain things. And, if there is a passion out there that you guys love to do, this might be the time. This is the time when you now do have a bit of time to probably look into it and do some research, or to set that business up. Or, I'll talk more about that in another podcast, some other exciting things that I've got going on in the background as well too. And I'll explain why and how and, why we've done it. But, I think, I just think we've got a little bit more time. The entire world is slowing down at the moment. Yes, it's going to get back to normal. When does that happen? No one can tell us. People are saying that, it's only going to be a couple of weeks and it's going to be 18 months. Look, it is what it is. And when it's over, it's over. And I do truly, sincerely hope it is over sooner than later. But, at the end of the day, every human being on the planet, we're all in it. It's just not you singularly. It is every single human being on the planet. So let's hope that we can fight this disease and somehow, however we can, and get things, life back to semi-normal. But I think it was a really good wake-up call. for a lot of us, to be honest. So, look, that's a couple of little things that are on my mind. Obviously, everyone is talking about it, but I just wanted to, this podcast, I will be able to go back and listen to, in many, many years and go, I remember that time. Do you remember when we were all through that coronavirus time? Like, we will forget about it, as soon as it comes and goes. And but that's just life. But it just shows that we are very vulnerable and exposed as human beings, and we need to really live our best life and give everything that we give a go at, 100%, and leave nothing on the table, because as you can see, it can devastate people within, instantly, things like this. So thanks for tuning in. I will get back on air again. I've got a few other things that I want to lay out, but we're really just in the background at work, where the entire team is still here and we're still working hard, and some massive changes, some exciting changes, and I'm pretty much now just going to turn our office into a multimedia company. That we've made that decision. So I'm going to lose my office and my team's office. So upstairs, where we're located in our building, I'm going to turn into just a full studio and really just turn it into a multimedia company, because it's just shown everything's now online, and I think this is the new way of business, and I'm going to be fully equipped, and we'll have a couple of extra videographers probably within the business quite soon, and really ramping things up across all social networks and TV shows, and we've got some things planned, and it's going to be kind of cool. So I hope you can follow us through on that journey, and we will obviously document it along the way as well too. But if you're listening, thanks for tuning in. I do apologize, it has been a little while, but I hope you're all safe. I hope your family is safe, and if there is anything that we can do, whether we've met or not met before, reach out, DM me on Insta, on Facey, or YouTube, wherever you're listening to this. Just reach out if it's just a chat, or if you need some advice, or some business knowledge, or some marketing advice, whatever it might be. Reach out. I'm here to help. This is me, episode 009. Chris Gilmore. Thanks for listening.